So when did she leave Polana to go?
I believe it was after my father died, which was either 41 or close to 42, somewhere in that time.
So you and your siblings came at different times?
Yes, we stayed with my grandparents, and slowly she managed to place, as she placed, she certainly couldn't take an apartment and live together and support us. That was impossible. And so we just waited our turn. One of my brothers, when she went to fetch him, she, he was the last one she was going to, she made a room for him in the same orphanage where my other brother was. And my grandfather opposed it. He pleaded with her to leave him for a while at least, still with him. And about a month later, they took them to Germany, to Auschwitz. And he was very young. There was no way he could have survived.
And which brother was his?
The other brother, well, it's a circumstance, I think I mentioned it.
Well, I mean, this brother that went to Germany, what was his name?
Shani.
So once in Budapest, how did you and your mother make a living? Where were you
So
staying?
my mother worked in a factory, and it was enough to provide us with food and lodging. Certainly not the type of thing that she grew up with, nor the type of thing that she was living when with my father.
When you first moved to Budapest, though, were you afraid to go? Were you excited? What was your feelings going into?
Oh no,
Budapest?
I was very happy.
Yeah.
I traveled by myself on a train. I was never on a fancy train, and this was. And my mother met me on the station. She didn't come for me. And no, I was thrilled. I was very excited because I had heard about it from my mother when she came to pick up my two sisters and my brother. And no, I was very happy.
Did you get to visit your sisters and your brothers, or did they get to come visit you?
No, we used to visit them. We always went to visit them.
Was it?
One of my sisters, she had a very good voice, so they trained her for singing. And the younger one was still too young for it, but they did send them to schools. They definitely got an education.
Was it dangerous to come visit them at this time, or
No,
were you
at
and your
this
mother
time, no.
free
In
to?
the beginning, absolutely not. It was fine. It was still quite normal sort of living, not the kind of living we grew up with, but there was no persecution at that point yet. The Hungarian Jews were protected by Horthy. Horthy was a regent of Hungary, and he, even though he was an ally of the Germans, I don't know he himself whether he approved of it or not, but nevertheless that was the situation at that point. And he definitely did protect the Jews from deportation for a long time.
That's right.
Yeah.
While living there, did you get to go to synagogue like you had in Polana? Was there?
Well, not quite the same way. We used to go for services, but not every Saturday event, because number one, we still maintained not to travel on Saturday, and the synagogues, there wasn't a synagogue near where we lived, and so, but we did go occasionally to, there was a place called Dohain Temple, and still in existence. Very, very beautiful, prominent synagogue in Budapest. And so we used to go specifically for the service there because it was a nice experience to go with a choir, and the choir is something that we weren't familiar in a small town. We didn't have.
I thought one of your brothers, the one in Budapest, I thought he sang.
Well, no, he was, the home had its own synagogue. And the people who supported it were very wealthy Jews who maintained the orphanage. And they used to come to services with hi-hat and what am I looking for?
And a cane, maybe?
No, I mean tuxedos.
Oh.
It was a bigger band. And my brother who was in the home had a very good voice, so did my father. And so he was in the choir, but he was, as young as he was, he had a solo because of his voice.
Yeah.
And so we used to go whenever we could just to hear him.
So,
Mm.